Hey everyone, back tuning in to today's video. It's JMA Friday today, so we're going to have a look at the weather for the coming month with the Japanese model. This is going to take us into January, go to the 8th of January with this update from the JMA. We'll also have a look at January and February from the CFS V2 model from the website weatherweb.net, so quite a bit going on for today's update. But before we get on with that, just to say about the ads, there's links to articles on the page that goes over, have a browser widgets and click through the links. If there's any articles that you're interested in, thanks so much for doing that. There's video ads on most pages, which open up with the content. When you watch it, but close back up again, it's helping to pay the website. And of course, Gav Shop is open still. It's 2 weeks today, I think, Christmas Day. So you've still got time to do Christmas shopping and get your presents out to you via Amazon.co.uk. All you have to do is click through the Amazon banners in the Christmas shop and go off and do your Christmas shopping as normal at Amazon. Because you're going from Amazon, because you're going from Gav Service to Amazon, we get a revenue fee on the things that you're purchasing. And thanks very much for doing that. It's been a huge success again this year. So thanks to everybody that's done their Christmas shopping at Amazon via Gav Service. So we're going to start off just with situation for today and tomorrow, because I've got a little bit of snow up in the north at the moment. We've been talking about how mild it is, but let's not discount that. We have got some snow showers across Scotland. We can see from the precipitation type forecast from the website Weather Online with the high resolution Euro 4 model. They have got snow showers here across central, northern and western Scotland, a little bit coming in southwest Scotland as well, and a little bit of sleety weather through Northern Ireland as well. Now tomorrow things will potentially turn a little bit wintry over the high ground of Northern England and North Wales. So this is the rainfall forecast for midday tomorrow. Again, this is from the high resolution Euro 4 model. You can see we've got a swathe of very heavy rain across northern England, much of Wales, into the Midlands, East Anglia, Lincolnshire, and over high ground, so particularly over the Welsh mountains and places like Buxton in the North Midlands, Staffordshire moorlands, and then going up in towards the Pennines. We have got the chance of some snow there. It looks quite heavy, but I think it is going to be very much restricted to high ground. If you get a few flakes coming down to lower levels, don't be surprised, but it won't amount to too much. But it's up over elevation, and I think we may get a bit of a covering just temporarily for a time tomorrow before it eventually turns back to rain, and it'll all be washed away, so it won't last very long. But it could be some wintry weather up in the north. But the most concerning aspect of tomorrow's weather is probably going to be the rain, actually, or the precipitation total. So this is how much precipitation is expected. You see that across Wales, we're expecting anything up to around 50 millimetres, 2 inches of rain. Through North Midlands in towards Northern England, we're expecting anything up to 25 millimetres, an inch of rain or an inch of precipitation. Some of it could be sleety, some of it could be just rain. So generally another very wet picture coming up tomorrow for the north. It won't help things for those flooded areas, but it may not be quite as far north as Cumbria, actually. So the worst of it could be to the south of Cumbria, but it's a close run thing. And in any case, it is looking a pretty wet and miserable day across many parts of the country tomorrow. Right then, let's have a look at the 500 millibar height anomalies from the Japanese model. This is the JMA 500 millibar height anomaly for the first weekly period, the coming week, which is going to take us from the 11th to the 18th of December. These are always broke down into weekly periods. As you know, with these height anomaly charts, orange, yellow, red extrapolating to high pressure, blue is extrapolating to low pressure. So what model is seeing for the coming week, and it's a bit odd actually, I'm not sure even at this point it's quite right, because it's seeing quite a strong ridge here across Central Europe and extending into, in towards the UK. We've got a cut-off trough down to the south, and we've got some low pressure up to the north. I'm not sure about that. I think it's going to be much more unsettled across many parts of the country through the course of next week, excuse me, than that would imply. As we go through to week 2, we find that the ridge is going down towards central parts of Europe. It's still the same idea, really, troughing the Atlantic, ridge across central parts of Europe, generally going like that. So it's a mild week coming up there. If anything, probably turning more unsettled as that ridge is broken down. But as I say, I'm not sure the model has really got it right up to the first week period. This going from the 18th through to the 25th of December. And then finally we go through to the 3rd and 4th weeks, which is Christmas Day, through to the 8th of January. And no real change. The ridge is there through many central parts of Europe, low pressure to the north. ridging through the central part of the Atlantic. So the jet stream probably going a bit like that. So it's probably cooler actually at the end of December into the start of January. I wouldn't necessarily say cold, but it's probably a cooler scenario with the air coming generally more from a polar maritime part of the Atlantic Ocean as opposed to the tropical maritime air masses that we've got through the coming week and we've had through most of December so far. So a little bit cooler towards the end of the month and into the start of January. We now look at the temperature and precipitation anomalies that go with this from the mid-latitude view to try and back this up a little bit. So the first week period is very confused. This is the coming week, the 18th through the 11th through to the 18th. And it does show quite a lot of ridging there across many parts of Europe and even extending into the UK as well. The temperature anomaly, as you would expect, is coming out significantly milder than average. And the temperature, the rainfall, is coming out wetter than average. So it's a very confused picture that. It did appear from the height anomalies that it is generally favouring ridging, but actually the rainfall anomaly is coming out wetter than average, which is what you would expect, or what I'm expecting through the coming week. I think it will be another pretty wet week. So quite why the heights are relatively high, I'm not sure. It's just overdoing it, I think, from Central Europe. Central Europe and Southern Europe will have ridging, so it's probably just extending that a little bit too far northwards, but it is seeing a wetter week coming up through the coming week anyway. The next weekly period is taking us from the 18th through to Christmas Day, shows that the ridging, if anything, is receding and going down in towards possibly southeastern parts of Europe as this low pressure for trough gets closer to us. Jet stream coming through the country like that. Temperatures going to Christmas forecast to be, again, significantly milder than average. And the rainfall is coming out not as wet, but generally still wetter than average, really, through the course of the week leading up towards Christmas. And then finally, we go through to week 3 and week 4. This is taking us from Christmas Day through to the 8th of January, and what we find here in terms of the temperatures is that they are cooling down a little bit, still a bit above average, but not as warm as the first 2 weeks. So there's a bit of a decline in temperatures going on there, but still generally a little bit above average, just less mild, if you like, but it is leading up towards Christmas. And the rainfall, that's easing off a little bit as well. It's still a bit wetter than average in the north. Elsewhere, it's turning a little bit drier than average, perhaps, down in the south. So it does look as though we keep it very mild and wet with the JMA, cutting through all the confusion. It is quite a confused picture in terms of those height anomalies, but cutting through all of that, it looks as though we have it generally very mild and very wet up to Christmas. After Christmas into the new year, it probably turns a little bit cooler, but still a bit warmer than average, you can see what I mean. And the rainfall eases a bit as well, especially in the south of the country. Just have a quick look at the CFS V2. So this is the city temperature graph from webweb.net. You can find it to webweb on the links page. This is for Birmingham. Excuse me. Again, this is from this morning's CFS, so it is the very latest update. It's just updated this morning. It updates on a daily basis, by the way, so if you keep an eye on this, it will change on a day-by-day basis. So we've got the temperatures on the side, and the dates are on the bottom, and we see that going up towards the end of the year, this is January the 1st, just here, New Year's Day, we're generally keeping it quite mild in Birmingham. Bit up and down with the temperatures, but no more than a bit of a zonal sine wave. It does turn quite cold there for a few days, perhaps, just before Christmas, and then it turns milder again over Christmas, but nothing definitively cold coming up until the first week of January, when it's seen quite a big drop in temperature then, and this time we sustain it really through the first half of January. We staying quite cold air again, dates are on the bottom, and we go up to the 21st of January of this, and you see that maximum temperatures generally are around 4 Celsius there as we get through into the start of January, and through much of January. Temperatures are coming out in Birmingham around 4 or 5 Celsius, with the risk of night frost. We haven't had hardly any night frost so far this winter, but as we get through into January, the model is seeing the chance of some frosty nights coming along. So overall, the CFS V2 this morning is seeing a decline in temperatures taking place from December into January. The monthly anomalies in terms of 500 millibar heights look like this. So December is set up as Atlantic driven and mild month with trough low pressure in the Atlantic, ridge through central parts of Europe. It draws up that warm air from the southwest. That's for the rest of December. Into January, we see quite a change. We start to get northern blocking setting up over the pole and this deep, deep trough out in the Atlantic. So it's very unsettled, this. But I think the reason it's colder is that the jet stream is trending southwards. The jet stream is probably going to the south of the country, and this blocking is probably feeding cold air into that trough. So it's quite a cold trough, although it's an Atlantic trough. I think it would be entrenched with some really cold air via the jet stream going to the south of the UK, and also via that northern blocking. So although it's Atlantic driven, probably a cold version of it. Quite an unusual pattern now, actually. And then we go through to February. This is 500 millibar high, normally February, very long way off, of course. Still seeing another really unsettled month. And I think probably the jet stream going a bit further north there, so it probably turns a bit milder in February, but it is still Atlantic driven. And there are still some hints of above average heights over the poles. So for January and February, maybe signs of turning a little bit colder there, but for December, well, it looks like we've got very mild conditions generally up towards Christmas. So it's a bit colder in the north at the moment. Will be over weekend, but even there will warm up next week. And I think just looking at very mild, very unsettled conditions up to Christmas, maybe turn a little bit cooler after Christmas. Possibly something more definitively seasonable as we get through into January. That remains to be seen. So it's a weekend forecast tomorrow. Come back for that. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching.